look what I bought for this video. Pretty cool, right? They were $60 on eBay. This series has a stranglehold on me, guys. Look, I've made 2 videos regarding Splatoon already, and I thought I was gonna be done with the series for a while. But, something very interesting happened. Wait, no, interesting isn't the best word for this. More like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? How is this possible? Yeah, that's better. Splatoon 3 has sold 3 million copies in Japan alone in only 3 days. And after seeing that headline, to say I was surprised is a complete understatement. I was and still am completely dumbfounded that Splatoon 3 has already sold that much. And it got me really thinking, how big of a deal is Splatoon to Nintendo? And why did it do that well? And most importantly, does Splatoon have the potential to take it to the top and become even bigger than the likes of Pokemon, Zelda, and even the godchild itself, Mario? And after doing some very profound research, I think I have the answer you're looking for. So this is the glass half full, and let's talk about how high of a ceiling will Splatoon go, because the answer may surprise you. So let's talk about the game of the hour, the game that features Big Man himself, Splatoon 3. And thoughts on it? It's pretty damn good. Truth be told, I was pretty excited for this game already, but I didn't have the expectations of, wow, this game looks so good, guys. I can't wait to play the ever-loving shit out of this game. Yeah. And on the car ride home, I'd like read the manual and look at the box cover, all excited and shit. And that was it. I wasn't really losing any sleep over it. Like, if I were to rate my excitement, I would give it a good 7.5 out of 10. But then you add Big Man, it goes up to 12. But then I actually boot up the game I paid $80 for, and wow, I severely underestimated this game. Like, God, how is it this amazing? I was truly floored at the amount of new stuff in this installment. Like, here's a bowling level, here's a Spider-Man level, here's a crab level, and they're all so good. Not to mention the crisp animated cutscenes featuring our favorite characters who become even more charming in this game. The beauty of the story mode that was kind of stupid, like in the best way possible, and some genuine plot twists that made me pretty mad that I didn't see coming at all. Like, no joke, the big reveal in the end had me legitimately pause the game and be like, this is peak storytelling. And little guy, he just exists and is already one of my favorite Nintendo characters of all time. And guys, at this point, I didn't even start playing the online yet. No, this is all through the story mode. I was expecting a good experience, but not a 9 or even 10 out of 10 game, but it happened. How the fuck did it happen? I like Splatoon 2, I really do, but it kind of just pales in comparison to this one. Granted, I must be honest with you guys, and I never got around to playing Octo Expansion. Maybe that's why I'm depressed. But who cares? This is more awesome, and if you haven't already, go play it. Well, actually, I don't need to tell you that, since apparently everyone has already played this game. Let's get back to those sales figures. 3.5 million in 3 days in Japan alone. I said it already, but I gotta say it again. It's just that surprising. Like, there's a lot of stuff I can do in 72 hours. Like, I can finish a video in 3 days, learn how to bake a cake, learn a new language, hell, even lose my virginity in... No, I can't. Okay, never mind. But selling 3.5 million copies? But this isn't even counting global sales or digital sales, so this number could be closer to 8 million, and it wouldn't really be that surprising. So much so that now Splatoon 3 is the fastest selling game ever. Just Japan, not the whole world, just Japan. I don't know why I forgot that detail, but it's still pretty impressive though. Beating the likes of Pokemon Black and White and New Horizons, which makes me genuinely believe that this is the second coming of Jesus Christ. Because come on, Pokemon Black and White, that was a series that was 15 years old at this point. It's a household name. And New Horizons had probably the best release dates of all time when a very specific thing happened that made everyone want to get Animal Crossing for some reason. And Splatoon 3 released by the time school started and affected nothing for its sales. Some of you might not be taking this as seriously as I am, and good on you, your life is a lot more fun than mine is, but for me, it's really important. Like, dude, I found this so important that I halted production on a whole other video because of this. Fuck it, I'll just say it. The next video was supposed to be a Kirby video. Like, I love Kirby, even more than Splatoon. Well, actually, now that Splatoon 3 is out, topic for another day. But either way, I was 70% done with that video, but now this one takes priority. Well, actually, I was a page deep and had writer's block, so I just abandoned it. Sorry, King DDD, I might or might not get to you later, but for now, Splatoon takes center stage yet again. Okay, so now we all know Splatoon 3 is a great game, but great games don't always equal great sales. So why does Splatoon 3 sell so well? So why does Splatoon 3 print literal money? And before I say anything else, let me just reiterate that 3 million is a pretty big number. Maybe not for the Switch, I mean just look how many copies their best sellers sell. Did I really write that? But to put it into perspective, I'm gonna make another comparison. Paper Mario Origami King. Pretty good game in my opinion, and from a pretty well-known series. Not only from the Paper Mario title, but it has the name Mario in it, so it's bound to do good. And it did! It set a series record at 3.34 million copies by the end of 2021. It was even a bestseller on Amazon for a while. Which, good for it. What an underrated gem. And then Splatoon 3 came and shot it dead in 2 days. Look, I can honestly go on and on about this type of success, but I think you get the gist already. So what's the big answer? Why do I think Splatoon 3 sold so well? And honestly, I thought it'd do worse than Splatoon 2. Not by a huge margin, but realistically, for complete casuals who already own Splatoon 2, they would see no need to buy the latest one. Like, Splatoon 3 could be the greatest video game ever, but financially, what would be the point if they're both on the Switch? Not to mention how sequels are notorious for selling a bit worse if they're on the same console. Case in point, Mario Galaxy sold around 12 million copies, and Mario Galaxy 2 sold around 7 million copies. And for another one, Ocarina of Time sold 4 million more than Majora's Mask. Despite not being a sequel, but they're still on the same console. Again, these games can be a major step up in every way possible, but if it has a big old 2 in its name, it's not going to sell as well as the first. And I thought Splatoon 3 would follow suit and perhaps sell 8 million to like 12 million units, but at this point, I would not be surprised at all if it's going to eventually outsell Splatoon 2. So why is Splatoon 3 different? Well, for starters, Splatoon 3 came out a whole 5 years apart from its prequel, which is a lot longer actually than other sequels and their predecessors. And secondly, it was on the goddamn Switch and released at a good time in its life cycle. Like, the install base is just huge, which is why a lot of them have already broken records. And third, and I think most importantly, Splatoon 3 came out at arguably one of the greatest peaks of the Switch's life cycle. There are over 110 million Switches all across the world sitting on your table or under your birdcage that people are playing, which is significantly a lot more than the measly 3 to 5 million Switches that were available back at the launch of Splatoon 2. Meaning Splatoon 2 came out at a time when the base was much smaller and wouldn't be as high of a demand as it is now. Not to mention how Splatoon 3 released after the whole big thing happened 2 years ago, which actually really helped the Switch out, since so many people went ahead and bought the Switch while the whole world burned before our eyes. Huh. What an unlikely duo. Meaning we have a lot of people who haven't experienced the joy of Splatooning and are gonna join here and now. And finally, when I don't look at the more businessy and conspiracy side of things, I think these numbers are just a testament to how diehard the Splatoon fandom really is. Not even just in Japan, but all around the world. I've said this once before, probably twice honestly, but Splatoon has made such a huge mark on Nintendo in the very little time it's actually been alive. And now for the last and most important question, how far will Splatoon go? Because I feel like this inky series may have a shot at dethroning the king. So why do I think that? Why do I think Splatoon 3 will have a shot at becoming the biggest Nintendo series? Well, actually I don't. It's a complicated story, but basically, there are some avenues it must take, but first off, it has to be not just a game series. Well, by that I mean Pokemon is also mainly a game series, but it also has a trading card game, an anime, a manga, so it has ascended from just a video game series. And while Mario doesn't have that many different avenues, it does have a shit ton of spin-offs and a movie coming out soon, so it's safe to say more people are gonna recognize a fat red plumber rather than a very humanoid looking squid. But who's to say it's gonna stay like that? Again, Splatoon as a series is only 7 years old. You know, he's still in elementary school playing with some rocks, while the Zelda series on the other hand have a full-time job and is gonna get married soon. But that kid playing with rocks has some huge potential. And with such a huge fan base, it wouldn't be too surprising if we do get some sort of adaptation later. I was iffy on the idea before, but now Nintendo Pictures exists, and you could do a little something there and make it pretty cool. And as for a trading card game, unironically, there already is one. So just push that trading card game from the game and push it to real life. I'm really thinking about it now, and honestly, Splatoon can become one of the big guns at Nintendo. Just like Smash, it already has a casual and competitive scene, you know, since it's easy to pick up and play with some friends, or it can destroy your life and make you unhygienic. And it has super long replayability with the constant updates and Splatfests and... God, I've said those words so many times this year, you don't understand. But to also know that Splatoon can become quote-unquote mainstream, it's gonna need some spin-offs. Since there are so many Mario spin-off games, and Zelda has a handful as well, so to really know if Splatoon is one of the big boys, is if Nintendo makes some sort of cooking game, but they slap a Splatoon and an Inkling on it and see how well it does. And I don't know if that's possible, but I think it's a great way to gauge how many fans care if the name Splatoon is in a title of a game. As for what kind of spin-off games they could make, I don't really know. The thing with spin-off games is that they don't really need to make sense. Just look at Mario. I don't think anyone could have guessed that on his off time he races, plays every sport in existence, and can unironically fucking break it down. So I have no clue what kind of spin-off game Nintendo can put these characters in. I mean, maybe they can do the Spider-Man thing, but... Wait, actually, that sounds like a pretty good idea. No, do that. Please do that. But outside the realm of video and gaming, Splatoon can unironically work as some sort of anime or manga. Actually, wait a second. Oh, never mind. There already is a manga. Huh. I never knew. And I guess that shows that Splatoon is a really big series in Japan and popular here as well, but it's not on that level yet like other shooters. Either way, I do feel like this recent success is going to lead to a lot more squid paintballing in the future. Because the way I see it right now, if I'm ranking Nintendo's biggest series of all time, not including Smash because that's a very weird case, I guess, Splatoon right now is currently the 5th biggest IP, right behind Animal Crossing at 4, Pokemon probably at 3, but can be interchangeable with Zelda at 2, and of course number 1 is Pilot Wings. However, there is a pretty solid chance in a couple years down the line it could be even higher. I don't know if it can ever be number 1 per se, but call me crazy, perhaps it can climb to number 3. Splatoon is a series I've always really liked, but was never a die-hard fan. But now I have a newfound appreciation for it for how young it is compared to the 20-plus-year-old beast, and found its own unique footing in the realm of Nintendo, which I would like to say would give way for more new IPs, but yeah, no, this is probably the only exception. If there's one thing for sure though, is that I'm never buying another piece of Splatoon merch ever again. Unless if it's Big Man related, I'd sell my soul for him, guys.